Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
All right, it's time for a What's Working in Ag segment. Guys, we don't get to do as many of these as we started off doing, but what a great way to get a quick hit on something that might provide our listeners a little bit of value.
Yeah, and this is perfect timing for it, too.
This would be great. So we are excited to have Joe Hauser joining us. He is the grower channel lead at Corteva Agriscience. Welcome to the podcast, Joe.
Hey, thanks, gentlemen. I'm happy to be here today and spend some time with you.
What does grower channel lead do?
Yeah, so I'm new to the role. I'm 2 months in, but essentially I'm tasked with leading the farmer strategy and programs for our crop protection business out of our Indianapolis headquarters.
Nice. And he is a transplant to Indianapolis because we were thinking maybe you'd show up in studio. He's a Central Iowa native.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Grew up in Greater Slater, just
Yep.
down the road.
I saw the name Hauser coming across, and I actually worked with Joe's dad, Doug, and I was like, why isn't he not just driving over to the studio and find out he's in Indy? So that makes a whole lot of sense.
Should have made the trip home.
There you go. We could have done this closer to Thanksgiving. You're probably back for Thanksgiving.
That's right. Yeah, just a week late.
Well, that's good. Well, this is exciting. We want to hit some key value points that we can bring to our listeners. You said as grower channel lead, you get to work on the strategy. So what is something that you feel would be a benefit to our listeners?
So really the thing I'm most excited about for this upcoming growing season would be our True Choice offer. So the True Choice offer is a way for growers to receive upfront savings on their crop protection products through Corteva.
So it's not like Menards when you get 11% cash back. You're going to get the cash back up front.
Correct. Yeah. So it's all up front. You're not waiting for that rebate at the end of the year. So it's really a unique offering in the marketplace.
Oh,
Explain the history, because so I sell Hogemeyer seed, so we've actually used the True Choice program with buying some of our chemicals. This has been around for at least 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, it goes back to 2018 is when the program got started. So that was the really start of the program. We made a lot of changes, a lot of tweaks, really simplified the program to make it very user-friendly, easy to understand, and there's really only a handful of components that go into it.
Is there a timeline to this, Corey? Do you have to, by a certain date, buy, or Joe, do you have a certain timeline associated with that to get that discount?
Yeah, so the grower needs to fund the account prior to March 1st of 2024, and there is a minimum of $5,000 to fund in that account.
Yep.
well, that's not bad. March 1st. Corey, you're making a lot of your input decisions before March 1st.
Yeah. I mean, we just got our first chemical quote, I would say, herbicide quote this week, and we'll probably continue to trickle those in through, a lot of guys want to buy on this side of the year or, early January, depending on taxes, right? So
Exactly.
the biggest hurdle, I will say it's gotten a lot easier since we first started. I spent a lot of time on the phone with people trying to help improve the True Choice program, but the biggest thing is knowing you have to fund that account. That's how you can save it up front.
Huh. So you're talking savings, Joe. That's always good for farmers. But in your intro, you were talking about protection, and that maybe a new role to you is part of the protection on Corteva's side. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so our crop protection business, I'm heritage on the Pioneer side. So I've spent 11 years with Corteva, majority of the time spent with Pioneer and a little bit spent with Granular on the digital side of our business, covering the high plains down in Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, that region. But on the crop protection side, really it's all things from nitrogen stabilizers, biologicals, herbicides, you name it, really protecting that crop throughout the growing season.
And those all qualify to be funded through True Choice.
Correct. So that's a beautiful thing about the program is we have over 100 of our Corteva crop protection products. So you have the full suite, the full portfolio, if you will, that you can utilize and purchase through the program.
So any program, Tanner.
Yeah, so there's not a limitation then. This gives a pretty wide range of availability for our listeners.
Correct, yeah. So if you're looking to stabilize your nitrogen, utilize some biologicals, corn and soybean acre, you name it, it's available through the program.
The only thing it can't do is it won't cover competitors' products, correct?
Correct. Yep. So it would just be the Corteva products.
Which in the beginning, when it used to just be DuPont before the merger and became Corteva and all that, there was some good products, but he didn't have 100 before.
Mm-hmm.
That Dow side
right.
brought a lot in, so it's really nice to have that.
He mentioned stabilizers. I had a conversation with Mike Burkhart the other day, and I didn't realize that in his region they can't put fall and hydrous on because it's too warm.
Yeah, they're too far south.
We had this conversation the other day.
Yeah.
Corey and I did, yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting. Sorry, a little side note there, Joe. Just one of those things. But if we have until March 1st to fund this account, this show is coming out way ahead of that deadline. Can we start saving today?
The program is live now, so you can get started today. Again, going back to what Corey alluded to, if you need to spend some money for some tax purposes this year, we're open. So if you use cash, you receive 10% upfront savings. If you're utilizing credit, you receive 5% upfront savings. So all the way through March 1st, a lot of our funding does hit both sides of the year due to tax purposes.
So, Joe, if I'm a small farmer and I only have, a handful of acres, maybe not enough to go, but I know Corey here, and Corey farms more than I do. Can I get with Corey and can we do this together where I just give him my money and he buys it all as one? Like, can we collude together? Can I ask that?
Yeah, so no colluding, unfortunately. We track it at what we call the operation level or business partner level.
Okay.
But there is an opportunity if you don't qualify for that 5,000 minimum to receive the savings, and you're just looking to finance your crop protection products, you can also utilize True Choice just for that component as well.
Oh, okay.
There is a financing option as well with True Choice?
There is, yep. So you can finance your crop protection needs through our subsidiary PHI Financial.
Okay.
Nice.
We talked about a minimum. Is there a top end? Do you have big operators that spend, is there a top end of how much you can spend and save?
No, there isn't. Yep. That's a beautiful thing as well, is there's no top end max out to it.
10% goes a long ways.
That's big time. At least cover your interest cost.
That's fair. That's fair.
Do you have to plant Corteva seed to use this program?
You do not. So that 10% cash and 5% credit savings that I referenced, you do not have to be planting any Corteva seed brands. Now, if you are planting either Pioneer or Brevant, we do have a partnership with them where you can receive additional upfront savings on top of that 10 and 5%.
I got to throw back now. I sell Hogemeyer. Come on, man.
I know it. I'll work it.
Okay.
Again, I'm new to the role, but I'll
right.
start.
Treat us fairly, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of interesting, as I geek out being the numbers guy, there's even a calculator right on the homepage and your resources tab that Corey, Dave could all go out and punch in. Like it says here, if I punched in 500 acres of corn, 500 acres of soybeans, I potentially could save $9.48 an acre on corn, $6.45 an acre on soybeans, and that's only talking 1,000 acres. That adds up really quick.
So, Joe, if I need the tax write-off this year, and so I decide to buy my protection this year and take advantage of this program, when's delivery date? I don't have a shop to hold it. Do you hold it? Do I hold it? How's that work?
Yep. So we hold it. So that's a great question. So you're purchasing through your retailer, right? Your local retailer.
Yep.
So as far as product goes, you receive that whenever you decide. You receive that whenever you decide to take that from your local retailer.
Fair enough.
How about on the retailer side? Obviously, like your co-ops and retailers are probably going to have this. Can the private guys that sell chemicals get on this?
So they need to be registered on their end through True Choice. Okay. So if they're a registered Corteva retailer, they would have the opportunity to utilize the program.
Cool.
So now we funded, right? We got an intention to purchase these products. What happens if I don't spend all the money that I've funded the account with?
So the funds that you don't utilize, albeit I hope you use them all, they come back to you during our reconciliation process. So any funds that you don't use, they will come back. It's a good question.
What kind of timing would that be?
Oh man, you're jogging my memory here. I think we got all that back November. So it'd be November of 24 is typically when we start to get those refunds back out.
Okay. Well, if we're talking $1,000, probably not a big deal. But if you had $50,000 left on there, with the interest rates, that's some opportunity cost. So make sure you figure
might
it out.
be some poor planning on your behalf if
Yeah.
you overfunded the account by that much.
Yeah.
But I know sometimes you lose acres. Sometimes Dave sells some land. And,
Can you roll it over into the next year? Like I put into a health savings account, and then if I don't use it that year, I get to roll it into next year.
I wish you could, but due to system limitations, we do give that money back.
You do?
Close to the end of the year.
you could take it right back and put it into next year's True Choice account.
Correct. I was just thinking
exchange of
simplicity.
checks.
Yep.
Correct.
Or if it's write off just like a health savings account
Right.
for taxes.
So, Joe, before we let you go, farmer wants to get started today. Where do they go? What do they do to get going?
So I always recommend, coming from the sales side of our organization, either getting in touch with your local Pioneer sales rep or Corteva retailer. I much prefer an in-person conversation, get my question answered. But we do have an online opportunity as well. If you want to just get online and create an account, you can go to corteva.us/TrueChoice to get started today. But again, I think meeting in person with your local representative would be your best bet to get started.
True Choice is spelled without an E.
Yeah.
TRUCH.
That's right.
Yeah, I got cute with it.
OIS. Not S-C. OICE.
Marketing. Yeah.
Spelling.
Yeah.
Who needs it? Well, Joe, this has been a pleasure. I'm glad that you had a chance to come in and share this. This is real savings. This is real farm-for-profit information that we could share with our listeners.
Yep.
Absolutely. Appreciate the opportunity, fellas.
One more question, guys.
Oh, boy.
Joe, anytime as a salesman myself, people have concerns. They always have concerns about stuff. What's a concern you've heard that maybe one of our listeners is like, yeah, I've heard this line and dance before, or song and dance is what it should be. I've heard that. What do people tell you, and can you bust that myth?
So I think one of the biggest things is the complexity of the program. So again, as Corey alluded to, it started back in 2018. We've worked a lot of those bugs out. So it really comes down to that 10% cash, 5% credit. You get additional bonus if you are purchasing Pioneer or Brevant seed. Outside of that, you pre-fund your money prior to March 1st and away you go. It's really that simple. So that complexity is removed.
This is like the What's Working in Ag after What's Working in Ag show.
It is.
Because now I have a question, too.
Well, What's Working Ag was always coffee shop talk, and the more coffee I drink, the more I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute.
Give me your top crop protection products. What are the most popular?
So through the program, I'd say the most popular product by far is Enlist, with the momentum that we've seen in the countryside. So the Enlist herbicide. Yep. We've also, Resicor is near the top. Biologicals are moving up in the portfolio as well. But I'd say top three would be Enlist, Resicor, and then Sonic on the soybean acre as well.
Yeah. Got some good fungicides, some good insecticides too. So, yep.
Yeah,
stuff.
Approach Prima. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Good. Should be Hogemeyer seed.
Well, we'll get there. Joe's new. We'll twist his arm a little
That's
bit.
right.
Yeah.
New to the role. That's right.
Come on, Joe. Step up to the plate. I'm hoping for you.
You bet.
Well, thanks for having fun with us. Thanks for sharing this information. Like I said, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you all. Really appreciate the time.